y'all don't know me, I am Jamekia. And for those that do know me, I'm so glad that y'all returning to check out the channel. Look, let me let my little windows up. Hopefully y'all can hear me real good. So y'all, I had a lovely conversation this morning. Um, Y'all always know I'm coming to y'all. Usually on Tuesdays, I talk on Clubhouse with my group, Black Coffee, Honey, and Grits. And so we had us a nice little podcast. Let me put this down a little bit, y'all, because if we cut the boobs in half, you don't want the boobs to be cut. You know, all right, but anyway. All right, y'all. So we had a lovely conversation. So of course, like I told you guys before yesterday, that the conversation was called Purity Culture, Death to the Good Girl. And so there was a couple of different ways that I wanted to handle it. And I realized that I'm probably going to have to turn it into a series. And of course, when I say death to the good girl, I don't mean that you're killing anyone. Please do not do any of that. What I do mean is that you do some internalized, and do some looking internally, and then process through like where your concepts of what purity is, where it comes from, how it sits with you, how it resonates with you, those things that work for you, allow it to keep working. Those things that you do not like, that does not work for you, that's putting you in a position where you feel like life just isn't going the way that you want it, that's putting you in a position where you're just like, I'm not finding pleasure in my life, I'm not finding the type of commitment and the love that I desire, I'm not finding that community that I really want. All of those things, when you are in that situation and you're feeling that, go through and kind of do some introspection and figure out where your ideas come from, because beliefs are only thoughts that you keep thinking. They're ideas and thoughts that you keep thinking, and that pretty much reside within you as your own personal truth, your due north, if you want to talk about being directed in such a way. And you know, of course, if it's not allowing your life to flourish the way that you deem fit for your life, it's time to make some adjustments and changes. And I can tell you this because I'm one of those people. Like, I'm all about making changes and adjustments to my life, and as you guys have seen, I have been flourishing, oh my gosh, drastically. It's been beautiful. I have been falling in love with myself even more and more every day. I have been enjoying the people that are around, the company that I keep, the community that I'm building, and it's being built on so many different levels and so many different areas, you guys. So of course, I'm here to help those women who were much like myself, who felt unheard, unappreciated, you know, maybe even undesired. Help those women strategize their life so that they can pinpoint out what needs to change in their space, in their life, so that they can have and create. Because the thing about it is that we are creators, and we create the those women who are out there who are very spiritual, giving us dominion, right? And so to have rule and power over things, and especially over our life, and to call things into our existence and to manifest, and all these great words that we hear all the time, like, you hear it, but can you make it happen? Can you become prosperous in these areas? And so that is something that I do. That's something I help more women do, majority women. I also help children to understand themselves, you know, as a teacher. Like I do that. I help them with their emotional intelligence, and identify things that work for them, what doesn't work for them, how they want to move and be. And y'all, so many thoughts coming to me at one time, but what I want to do is I pretty much wanted to create this video to kind of do a recap of the room. So today we brought this conversation about purity and purity culture, and what that means to us as women. And of course, we had men on stage. I never want to forget the men. I love y'all with so much within me. I love you guys. I love everyone. But we had this conversation. Women and men both gave their input, and we were just talking about initially with us 5 women at first, which is Black Coffee, Honey, and Grits. You guys Google us, check us out, check out the podcast, all these great things that are coming up, because we do have some things in the works. We do have like a virtual event that's coming up May 7th, I believe, Sunday, May 7th, in the DC area. So if you're out there, you guys are interested in joining us, please let me know. Please let me know, so we can get a link to you, so that you can be a part of this interaction. And of course, in a couple months, we're going to be having some major events coming to fruition. So just stay tuned with all that. I didn't come here to go through that, but what I wanted to talk about was this room. So I asked the ladies, I was like, what is purity to you? Like, what is purity culture? Like, how has this idea, these concepts of purity, how has it resonated in your life? What has been brought to you by others, different ideas, maybe from your parents, from school, from church, from your community, all these different aspects. How have they demonstrated or taught you, what have they taught you about purity and how you should be as a woman? And so, of course, there were a lot of great content. There was a lot of great people who came up on stage and talked, and we actually went over our time. Usually we try to keep everything within like a 2-hour period. And I had to drop out because, I have to work early in the morning. But y'all know I have a tight schedule, but I try to do what I can. And so, of course, within these conversations, and I might just tag it down in the description. I'm going to try to find a link so I can send it, so I can put it there. But a lot of women were just saying how for them, they were individuals who were told pretty much, you must... you are who you are. However, you must do things in order to remain pure, remain a virgin, remain with the perception of a good girl, in order for you to have a man, or in order for you to be desired in life. And so we were just talking about these concepts of what that looks like, and how people have told you, how you should be in order to establish yourself as an individual who will be the right mate, right? And so as we talked about all these things, a lot of what it came up to be was this idea of purity being a good girl. And I say, as adults, we are women, and we're still trying to play to these roles of being a good quote unquote girl. And as a woman, you have your own voice, your own perception. You have your own identity. You are an individual, and you can let those things be expressed and understood without diminishing who you are, without saying, hey, I have to be a quote unquote girl. I have to, whatever it may be, right? So we had this discussion. It was so powerful and power packed, you guys. It was really good. It was a really good discussion. And so within that discussion of what purity looked like, right, based off of your family, based off of your interactions with your community, all these different things. So it went from this idea of being a good girl to then asking the question, hey, okay, how have you went against that idea? How have you created, I guess you could say, created narratives and things to break against this idea of being a good girl? Or how has life brought you to situations and circumstances and all these different know-hows, these different experiences that kind of pushed you away from being the quote unquote good girl, and worried about the purity standards, and even how purity is looked at between sexes, between men and women, and all of these things, and how you can be more of your own self, and you're able to have desires and live through those things and express yourself. And then, of course, the last question, it was like, are you secure in your sexuality? And that into play a sexual being. You can't be a feminine woman and still remain pure. It was like this idea that you're one expressing yourself is so involved in sensuality, sexuality. Things always go together, and it's like that doesn't quite always connect. That just because you're a sensual sexual person doesn't mean that that you're still not in a area where you're considered or can consider yourself pure. You are still pure. You are still full of light. You are still full of bloom. Your essence is running over. And so we were just having this communication. And of course, like I said, I am going to turn this into a series, because I think that we have to unravel these concepts of purity and being a good girl, and still being able to express yourself, and still being able to be vulnerable and be strong, and have these things that seem as though they don't go together, but how they work. Self, right? You have to be able to be the best, and how it builds confidence with yourself and in between others. Like, there's so many things, so many layers onto it. And so, you guys, I kind of just wanted to have that as a brief introduction as to what was said, what we discussed. And of course, like I said, I may go ahead and put in a description at some point. It's probably not going to be right now. But may put it in the description where you can go and click and listen to that as a replay, because it was an amazing conversation with so many great people. Definitely going to dive into it in a few different ways. So I think I want to do it with religion, and come at it from the aspect of the Bible, because that is one of those strong. And then of course, as always, everything that I do goes back to the woman as a complete person, as a whole person, because a community can only be as strong as its women. And I know some of you have, and with myself, because I can own it, if you want to deal with terms, a black woman, a woman of color, right? So I can only come from it from that standard. And with that being said, I'm definitely going to explore my own community and how we look at these things, and how European society has in place some ideas within our community and on our community, and how these things have changed over time, because I definitely think that perspective and time period is very important to bring into play, because it builds out a full story. And so, y'all, be looking out for this. Be looking out for this, because I'm so excited about it. And I don't know. I'm just in love with this idea, this concept, and to see how it's gonna flourish. So again, you guys, I love y'all. I'm not staying long. I'm gonna post this. We're gonna keep this video up, and be waiting and stay tuned for the other ones. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel up top. Make sure you click on the bell, honey. Ring that bell, so that when the videos come out, you guys will be the first to know and first to see. Of course, when I do lives, you can be able to tune in and have a conversation with me, because y'all know I love talking to y'all. And as always, share the videos out with your friends, family, whoever you think needs to hear some of the content that you have heard. Like, comment on the videos as well, because I'm here to read your comments. I want to talk about things that you want to talk about, and explore different concepts and ideas and perspectives as we dive into this topic. So again, you guys, I'm not staying here long. I love y'all. I'm gonna see y'all later. I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow. Just letting you know. I'm gonna see y'all later, and have a good day.